Hey guys, this is Stuart Ross, founder of the Six Figure Mentors, and I'm delighted today to be sat here with one of our students, Paul Ingram. And Paul, I think it's fair to say that you're pretty excited to be doing this video today.
Yeah, definitely. It's really good to be here.
So this is one of the first videos that Paul's done in terms of talking about his journey online, and we're both really keen to try and give you some golden nuggets. And the reason being is I'll get Paul to tell you a little bit about his history in a moment, but Paul's been online for, what, a couple of years now, sort of dabbling around, 3 years maybe, was it you said?
That's right.
So 2-3 years he's been dabbling around, not really getting too many results, but is it fair to say you had a real sort of burning desire to see some sort of online success, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, let me just kind of step back and give you a bit of presence of where I've come from and so on. So I kind of when I left school, I never really went to any university, so it was kind of inbred in me that, well, if I want to succeed, I've really got to get a good job and work hard, and which I did, and I've put a lot of effort in, and I was very lucky to become a network engineer in computers, and I managed to go up the line and earn a six-figure income from that, and so I've been very lucky and blessed that way. But after all that effort, back in 2010, and I think it was just before Christmas, December the 18th, I got told...
You remember that day?
I remember that day.
Yeah, I think other people will relate to that.
Anybody will remember this, is I got made redundant. And so I've got a six-figure income and everything that probably goes like with that six-figure income as well. And all that happens is a pure fear of anxiety, yeah. Especially just before Christmas. Yeah. What am I going to do? Anyway, not to go too far into that story, I come out the other side. But what really come from it was, do you know what? I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm totally reliant on my job again. Sure. I needed to find some sort of diversity.
Yeah. For security.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so if my job disappeared, then I've got some other income, and so that's when I really kind of looked for some sort of online business or way that I could generate another income. You mentioned, yes, I've been looking around, I played with eBay a little bit and so on, and I've always been a kind of bit of an entrepreneurial kind of person inside me, so I've always been dabbling, but that's all I've been doing, is dabbling. Yeah. Now I was in a position where I really need to take serious control, and that's when I said, do you know what, I need to find a proper system, a proper way to generate income online, and hence why I'm here with you, really.
Yeah. So a couple of things really there that I want to sort of focus on straight away is that, in my experience with showing and teaching people how to build online businesses, is that for a high percentage of our students, they come to a position where they want to learn to make money online because things or an experience have got that bad. So maybe made redundant, or a cash flow problem, or some sort of major issue. But I want to try and encourage people, not only that are in that situation, to take massive action, but also people that may not have experienced that, but can actually have, I don't know, I suppose the idea that maybe it's sensible to take action prior to something like that kind of experience happening, which was kind of my situation. I mean, I was never made redundant, I just was fed up with my lifestyle. But I want to try and sort of encourage both sides of people to sort of take action, because I think it's important, whether you've experienced that redundancy, or you've experienced that cash flow crisis, or if you're just thinking, well, actually I want to be smart, I want to be an entrepreneur and make sure that I never have to experience that. So that's one of the points. The other thing that you mentioned, which I think people will really relate to, is that this whole dabbling thing. You sort of looked around online, various different ways of making money online.
Exactly.
Tell people a little bit about that journey prior to coming across our training course. I mean, what was your experience?
I think what it was I was looking at ways on how to make money online, but as you said, I was just dabbling. I wasn't actually looking at this as a proper business. I was purely just looking to make an extra couple $100 here and there, but I wasn't putting in the right attention to actually turn it into a proper professional income on a regular term. So that's why when I found your system, that I actually said, do you know what, this can actually be turned into a proper business, and I can get a proper regular income, as long as you treat it like a proper business, and actually put the effort and the right focus in the right areas, then it will work like any other business as well.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. Like, one of the things that I always say to people is, if you treat your online business as a hobby, then you're going to get paid like a hobby. And I don't know about you, but I know that I don't get paid for my hobbies. And but if you treat it like a business, that doesn't mean that you have to put in 10 hours a day or anything like that, because for the majority of people like Paul, you don't have that amount of time to put in. But if you do make sure that you give that commitment, that you're going to put dedicated, consistent chunks of time into your online career as such, then you're going to start to see results. Now, one of the things we were talking about earlier when we're having coffee, and this is something I wanted to put across in this video, is that, Paul, I think it's fair to say, I'm the first to say there are a lot of systems, there's a lot of coaching programs out there, some good, some bad. But regardless of what coaching program you're in, one of the reasons I know that you've got results is because rather than diversifying too much, rather than trying to do loads of different online schemes, rather than trying to do affiliate marketing across multiple different niches and trying to build loads of different blogs out and doing SEO and everything else, what you've recognised is that with our system, like you could do with any system that offers quality training, is that you have dedicated and focused your time, energy and effort on one business model.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think that's one of the biggest reasons that people fail online, is that they diversify too much at the start, they spread themselves way too thin, which causes a lot of frustration, a lot of overwhelm and a lack of results. So Paul, you're in a situation now where you've been several months into our coaching program. You've now had your first $1,000 day in commissions, over $1,000 a day in commissions. How did that feel?
That was just superb.
Yeah.
I mean, when you put in the simple steps into this online business, and everybody has to go through the steps of learning the core foundations of the business. But once you've done that and you get into a regular routine and you just keep duplicating that, all of a sudden the leverage of time is just amazing. So the day that I found out that I'd had $1,000 a day, I was actually at work. So while I was busy at work doing my day-to-day stuff, somewhere in the background, that system had brought in me $1,000. And the system's just really powerful, and it just goes to show you the importance of leverage of your time.
Well, just before you go on from there, just to sort of really help people understand the feeling of having that sort of $1,000 day. Where were you when that happened? What was the day like? I mean, were you working on your computer? What happened when you made that sort of first $1,000 commission?
I remember I was in my office at work. I got a full-time job. I was sitting in the office in front of the computer, just tapping away, doing some emails, and then all of a sudden I get a text on my phone saying congratulations,
you got $1,000.
You got $1,000 in your merchant account, and it's just superb. I mean, that $1,000 is more money than I would have earned that day from doing that job.
Yeah, I think it's a key thing. If you're in a situation right now where you're maybe in a job or you don't have a huge amount of time, is to understand that the reason that online businesses are so powerful is, yes, you've got to put the energy and effort in the two areas. You've got to put the energy and effort in getting the foundation set up online. But also you've got to put the energy and effort in learning new skills. Anyone that tells you that you can make money online by just plugging into something and pressing a few buttons and make $1,000 would be lying. I think it's fair to say that your first month or 2 months was learning those skills. It was learning those new skills, how to list build, how to drive traffic, how to convert those leads into buyers and stuff. And that's stuff that can be learned. I think you're a great person to sort of confirm that can be learned very, very quickly. But if you go into the business, if you go into the online world, focused and saying, I'm going to really treat this seriously, I'm going to spend, actually, I don't even know the answer to this. Paul, what amount of time do you spend on your business online? I don't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you say is, you've come a long way, you've forget the original sort of messing around, and when you found our system and you plugged in and you decided, that day you decided, right, I'm now going to treat this seriously, how much time did you put in?
I mean, I think it's fair to say that when you first learning this type of business online, there's a lot of training, and you spend as many hours as you want. So I'd come home from work and I'd put maybe 2 or 3 hours in the evening when I do it. But now, once you actually know the key principles,
you know where to spend that time.
You know where to spend your time correctly, so you can step back the amount. You come out of a student mode, and you actually go into a doing mode,
business mode.
Exactly. And that was, I mean, that would be my biggest thing if I was going to say to people now, is that as soon as possible, get out of that student mode straight.
Really focusing on the money producing activities.
Exactly.
And I can also really confirm that as well. I mean, one thing I will say is that my expectation for our students is at least 10 hours a week in the learning mode, those first couple of crucial months. You know, that's an hour or 2 hours every single day learning the business. But I think that's another amazing message that you're sharing right there, is that and particularly for people that have maybe been trying to make money online for long periods of time and who aren't getting results, is that you've got to come to that point once you've learned enough. That doesn't mean you're going to stop learning, but learn enough to start shifting the amount of time you're spending on money-producing activities from learning into money-producing activities. And my advice is always this sort of 80-20 rule. 80% of your time after your first few months should be spent on money producing activities, list building, building relationships with your list, promoting products, creating content to help your business grow. And the 20% of time, so maybe an hour or 2 a week, should be spent on, you know, maybe webinars or the training videos, etc. I think that's a really, really valuable lesson. So before we finish up the video, that, you know, one of the things that I see all the time is entrepreneurs getting in touch with us, saying, you know, I'm interested in what you offer, the training and everything else, but I want to know really what it can do for me, you know, in a long-term thing, because a lot of the internet stuff that I see is, in my opinion, is very short-sighted. It's this get-rich-quick schemes. It's this whole, you know, silly malarkey of, you know, make money online pressing a few buttons. And one thing you'll learn in our system is that it doesn't work that way, you know. And the systems out there that do that, in my opinion, are very, very short-sighted. Even if there are systems out there that can make you a lot of money quickly, the reality is it's probably too good to be true in terms of it's not going to be a long-term venture. So, Paul, what I like about one of the conversations that we were having earlier is that your plan over the next, say, 4 or 5 years, as we were discussing, and then beyond, is to really learn to have a real positive cash flow from the internet stuff, which is the same for me. I mean, I'm fortunate enough, I have 6-figure months now, and that gives me a lot of cash flow to play with. Paul, you're in a situation right now where I think, you know, your goal right now is to get to 10 grand a month cash flow on the internet. That allows Paul to quit his job should he choose to. Not that you would have to. That's one thing. I've got students who make, you know, thousands of dollars a month, but still choose to keep their jobs. That's great. I understand that. But your goal is kind of like to free that time up.
That's right.
To then be in a position to invest in the future. But I want to share the exact conversation we had over coffee earlier, which was about the property investment market, which you were involved with. So, Paul, tell people watching the video first of all what your experience was. You invested, was it in 3 properties, 3 buy-to-let properties?
Yeah, I mean, we had 3 buy-to-let properties, and our experience was that we bought these buy-to-let properties because we wanted an investment for later on in life, and to get some income from those properties. But what we actually found was that we had to raise about £20,000, $40,000 US dollars to invest first of our own money
as a deposit,
as a deposit to then leverage and get a mortgage on those properties. And so you've got this large amount of money that you've invested to get each property, but in reality the return you was getting on a monthly basis was probably only about $100.
Yes. Cash flow.
And so when you position the monthly return you're getting from those properties, and
the amount of money you've got to put down as well,
and the amount of money you've already invested, and compare that to an online business and earning $1,000 in a day, a cash flow, and actually the small amount of investment you actually had to put into your online business,
There's no comparison.
It's no comparison at all.
See, I think this is such an important message because, like a lot of people I speak to, their long-term goal is to invest in property, which I think is a brilliant idea. I mean, I know certainly at the right time I will be investing a lot of my cash flow into property for long-term wealth. But the problem that I'm seeing with a lot of entrepreneurs, not so much employees with employee mindsets, but a lot of entrepreneurs, is that they want to take advantage of investments like the property or even the stock market, which right now again is very risky, but they know that right now the timing isn't right, so therefore they're kind of like sitting and waiting. But the problem that I know will happen for many of these people is that because they're staying in their jobs or used to their regular routine of, you know, a fairly regular income, is that let's wind forward 2-3 years down the line when, you know, things start to pick up, the economy recovers, the euro hopefully gets saved, and, you know, things actually get back to normal. The US dollar continues to get stronger, sterling as well. So let's just move forward and say things are really starting to happen. There are a lot of people that are going to recognise the times are getting good. Markets start going up, the press starts releasing some positive news for a change, house prices are going up. But the reality is that for most people they're not going to be in a situation to actually take advantage of that, because their cash flow won't be there. And the advice that I want to give people is that if you are an entrepreneur, particularly if you're somebody who's been looking at property as an opportunity as well, is really think about how the internet may enable you to generate a lot more positive cash flow in the tune of $10,000 a month upwards. Free your time up to actually learn more about wise investments. I mean, one of the things that I know you and I spend a lot of our time on right now is learning about investment opportunities.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think that's such a great point that we were discussing earlier, is that the internet is such an amazing way to generate short-term cash flow as well as long-term, that you can then intend to sort of invest in future longer-term assets as well.
Yeah, I mean that's why I found, and that's why I've gone into the online world as a proper business, is because from my property experience I found that I wasn't generating a proper cash flow, and the survival for any true business is cash flow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've never seen such a better way to leverage cash flow as an online internet business. And yes, ideally later down the line I want to invest my cash in other properties and so on, but that's future investments
and longer term.
Exactly. At the stage where my business is at the moment, I need cash flow just like any other business, and without it any business is going to die.
Yeah.
But once I've generated that cash flow, then I'm going to look at other investments. It could be property and so on. And
anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really pleased to sort of share that as well, because it was a conversation we're having over coffee, and I thought, you know what, there are a lot of people that are sitting and waiting, waiting for the economy to improve, waiting for the market to pick up, waiting, and they're entrepreneurs at heart. But in my opinion, you know, a real true entrepreneur should be taking action in the current times. And right now, I believe, and I know our students believe, that there is no better time to be investing your time and money than actually in an online business, which can put you in a much stronger position. Anyway, so thanks for coming through to check out this video. Thanks very much, Paul, for coming onto the office. I'm sure people have enjoyed this video. As I said, Stuart, founder of the Six Figure Mentors, Paul Ingram here, and we've really enjoyed shooting this video today.